From Republican presidential campaigns to the Young Democrats of America. We all know that in this country, our population is diversifying, more and more communities are changing, and we know from this off-cycle 2017 that when you engage with those kinds of voters, you can win some races. We learned that in Alabama. Our next speaker, China Dickerson, is going to tell us more about how to engage in these diversifying times. Let's welcome China.
Hello, everyone. My background matches my shoes. I just wanted to point that out. So two things. One of them you're very well aware. The other, for some, is an inconvenient truth. One, white men run everything, from Wall Street to Main Street and even politics. Two, the white men comprise only 31% of the US population. Despite men comprising only 1/3 of the population, 97% of all Republican elected officials are white, and 76% are male. Of all Democrats, 79% are white, and 65% are male. Not only do white men sit in an overwhelming majority of elected seats, they're also the majority of political consultants. So before I go any further, let me be clear, usually I'm partisan, but this isn't a Democrat Party problem or Republican Party problem. This is a bipartisan issue. As of 2014, the Census Bureau reports that 38% of the population is non-white, rising to majority minority by 2044. And according to exit polls in 2016, 30% of the voting electorate was non-white. If the voting electorate trend is consistent with the population trend, more and more voters will be non-white. With that, shouldn't political representation reflect the diversity of the country? And to appeal to those voters, shouldn't candidates consult experts from various backgrounds? Listen, the problem in America is that we are fighting to be colorblind, gender dismissive, and faith indifferent. Human beings are complex, and our differences make us beautiful. What we need is a more reflective representation. I am Black, in case you didn't notice. I identify as a woman. I'm 5'10", though I love heels, 200 pounds, and though I look 26 years old, I'm actually 34. You don't know me, but I'm pretty great. Ask my friends, not all of them. I'll tell you specifically which ones. My point is that I would like you all to accept who I am and appreciate my experience and what I can offer to this nation. If we all accepted the diversity each of us bring, we would encourage a more diverse pool of candidates, elected officials, and political consultants. So I've shown you the problem, now let's talk about solutions. Don't you just hate people that complain and complain? They're C people, not P people, not solutions-oriented people. Well, I won't be that person today. Let me help you help us. First, we need a bigger pool of women and people of color candidates. Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Since the 2016 election, you all may know, over 30,000 women, it's more now actually, have contacted a political organization about establishing a campaign, how to run a campaign. More importantly, women make up more, this qualifier is important, more than 50% of the population. With these numbers, we should start to see more women running for office and winning, and we are. But if you talk to women, they will say that they're still having difficulty, right? They're still facing people who have been in office for a long time, multiple terms, incumbents, right? And they still have difficulty in raising large amounts of money. The solution, let's invest in organizations that prime women to run for office, and let's donate more to women candidates. If women and people of color start to see that it's easier to raise money, then that sets an example for the next generation, the next cycle of candidates. Second, we need a bigger pool of women and people of color political consultants. Black women, as you know, maybe blew up isn't the right, turned out and voted very heavily in the Alabama, Virginia, New Jersey elections, and many others, right? We are seeing Latinos speak louder and spend more money in their communities. Asians continue to dominate the tech sectors. So shouldn't candidates running in communities with these demos seek the advice of experts that most relate to those community members? Now, I started off talking about white men. I'm going to continue to do that. We're still seeing high-level campaign jobs in elected offices being dominated by white men. So no shade to white men, but I hesitate to believe that a white man who grew up in California with wealthy parents and a postgraduate degree understands the struggle, able to sympathize, but we're talking about empathy, empathizes with a woman, immigrant, 22 years old, raising a child on her own, with her predominant language being Spanish. The solution: do you work for a firm with everyone looks like you, or comes from a similar background as you? Strike up a conversation with the partners of your firm about diversity and inclusion, and make sure to emphasize the positions of power. If you want to help your clients, you'll give them the best tools and the best advice. Third, we need to not suppress voting. Now, before the boos and the cheers, I understand that this issue has partisan critiques, but I'll spare you that and just stick to what I think we can all agree on. Why the hell is Election Day on a Tuesday, a work day, and typically during work hours? If you have more than one job, if you have to drop and pick up your children from school, if your polling place is not near where you work, then Election Day being on Tuesday is ridiculous. And guess who it disenfranchises? Women and people of color. Because those groups of people are more likely to not have the flexibility in their schedules to allow them to go into work late or leave early. The fix is to make Election Day on the weekend, like Louisiana's been doing for decades, or let's make it a holiday. Let's show people that we understand that while they don't have the most flexible schedules or lives, their contribution to the political process is necessary and valued. Is this mission impossible? We continue to perpetuate and fight to break barriers that prevent women and people of color from being supported in our political systems. But you can change this. We can change this. So if you work in politics, the first thing you can do when you go home, or even on your smartphone, as we just heard, I'm sure some of you are. Actually, no, most of you are looking at me. This is good. This is good. Shoot a text to a woman, to a person of color, and ask them if they've ever considered running for office. If they're finding it difficult to get out and vote and why, if they have an interest in working in politics, or if they're willing to collaborate with you to work with a candidate, elected official, or political organization. And if you do not know any women or people of color, we have a different problem. Let's make America the place we all want it to be. Let's pull more people into the process. Let's believe in each other. Let's find the value in women. Let's find the value in people of color. This country's electorate is changing with or without us. Let's embrace it. Thank you.